Klinda here, and it is time for another vlog. I got asked a pretty awesome question by someone, I don't know, I forgot their name. I'll put their name, put it here. So anyway, the question was, they wanted me to vlog about, because I vlogged about how I started playing WoW and all that sort of thing. They wanted me to vlog about how how Adept came around and sort of that. So I sort of going to expand on that question a bit, and I'm going to go with WOTLK, how I met Haiku, which was at the start or the end of BC, and how Adept formed and all the dramas that happened with Adept forming and stuff like that. And then I'll go into Klinda 7 as well, which was like my big sort of movie, and probably my favourite movie as well. So yeah, here we go. Okay, so this is going to be a pretty long vlog. Okay, at the start. Where do we start? I'll start at the end of BC. So BC for me wasn't like a really eventful expansion. I was just sort of... I made PvP movies obviously because I've had Klinda... I think it was up to Klinda 4 that I had that was all in BC. But they didn't really get massive or anything. They sort of had sub 100,000 views and no one really saw them that much. I never posted on Warcraft movies or anything like that. That was just purely YouTube. And it was just from me linking it on the forums and stuff like that people saw it. So I went towards the end of BC. It was when I went and met Haiku. I met Haiku. He played a mage in a guild called Dispose, and at the time I was in a guild called Epics, which was EPIX, and it wasn't anything special. Like, we sort of just cleared content. We weren't like rank 1 in the world. We were like rank 1,000 or something, and it was just an Australian guild that raided Australian times, which is really hard to sort of find back then because there wasn't Oceanic servers, there wasn't anything like that. You had to try and group together Oceanic players on like a dedicated server, which was really hard to do because back then transfers weren't you couldn't just do a transfer or stuff like that. So yeah, I found this Australian guild and it was all good. It did the job. I had like Cataclysm's Edge and my arena gear and stuff like that, so it helped to make PvP movies. Yeah, so Haiku was in Dispose and I was in Epics, but like Dispose was like a big like Oceanic guild. They were really good. They were like sort of top of the tier, sort of pushing hard for progression and stuff like that. And they were like sort of like, I was like, wow, those guys are awesome. I want to be like that one day. But at that time I didn't really raid too heavily, so I didn't really care. But yeah, I met Haiku doing 5v5. We were playing... what were we playing? I think it was Enhancement Shaman, Warrior, maybe Mage, and then Priest Paladin. I can't remember, I'm not sure about the Mage, it might have been something else. But Haiku was playing his Priest, and at the time it was his ult because he was a Mage. And we sort of, you know, had pretty fun times together and we got along real well, and we ended up getting a 2100 or something, 5, I don't know, it wasn't anything ridiculous. And yeah, so we sort of gelled and we arenaed pretty well together, and that's how I met Haiku. That was at the end of BC, so I don't know, that was so many years ago, it's been ages, probably like six years or something, I don't know. And so BC was coming to a close, and I wanted to start getting into a bigger guild, and I want to start doing more raiding and getting more serious with WoW and sort of progressing in arena and stuff like that, and sort of get my videos out there so people could see them. But I didn't really know how to do it, so I went to Jason, and I was like, Jason, man, what's up? What's going on, Brad? And he's like, hey, man. And then he sort of got me into Dispose, because Dispose we're going to obviously recruit going into an expansion. And towards the end of BC, I think I raided a bit with Dispose, and I obviously impressed him enough to get a core spot as a Fury Warrior. I think it was doing Kill Jaden in the Sunwell. I don't know, I played reasonably well in the final boss. I was controlling the dragon or something, and I ended up getting, what did I get? And I got a piece of loot, I think it was gloves or something, I can't remember. Anyway, so BC came around, and we had like my little group of friends, and then I was in Dispose, so everything was all good. My little group of friends was like Haiku, and there's another guy, there's a few other people, I can't remember, I'm sorry. But that was our leveling party. We'd sit on vent and we'd sort of chill out, and we were going to level together in BC and just sort of keep each other company sort of thing, so that we didn't fall asleep or get bored of leveling and stuff like that, because it was this whole new thing, new expansion. We wanted to sort of be tip of the top, and like I took time off work, and everyone else took time off work and stuff like that. So, no, but I remember that the night of the launch, I went to sleep really like at some weird time. It was like, because for us it got launched at like 5 p.m. or something, like 10 p.m. I don't know, because I'm Australian. So I went to bed at like midday, and I woke up just in time to go shopping and get all these energy drinks and snacks and stuff, and all this other crazy stuff. So yeah, so we've all logged on, and we're sitting there like spam logging on because it's just lagging like hell. At this point, actually no, I should probably go back a bit, because I was on Tharasan, and my name was Klinda with a C. That's where Clinda, my YouTube channel, came from. And we transferred with Dispose over to Dreadmore, and that someone took my name Clinda, so I had to get Klinda with a K, and that's where Klinda with a K was born. But anyway, so we're all spam logging in to Dreadmore, which was an Oceanic server, which was this brand new thing for us, because we never had like all these Australian people in one server. It was all sort of, there was no dedicated Australian service, which is pretty awesome. So we're all spamming to log on, and we eventually go and we start questing, and we head to, oh god, I can't remember the bloody, what it's called, I don't know, one of the maps. It was the not shit one. Went to it was the left hand side of Burning WOTLK that we started leveling in. And yeah, we spent, oh my god, we would play for like 18 hours and have like an hour break and then come back and play again. And it was like we were so going so hardcore, because we wanted to be the best. I suppose we wanted to be the best in Australia. Like, we wanted to be the tip top guild sort of thing. But as that was happening, and as the WOTLK was sort of launching and everyone was doing their hardcore leveling, another guild from, I think it was from Bartalas that they originally came from, they transferred onto Dreadmore, and they wanted to, maybe it wasn't Bartalas, I don't know where the hell they came from. They might have formed on Dreadmore, I can't remember, I really don't know the backstory. And their name was Adept, and they wanted to challenge Dispose to everything, pretty much. So it was Adept and Dispose. I was in Dispose. Adept, I didn't really know much about it, I didn't really care. I was just concentrating on myself and Adept. So, kept going, we kept leveling, playing for some ridiculous hour. Like, we were leveling in a party, and I'm starting to get delirious. I had like 10 energy drinks into me, and I'm like, oh guys, I've got to go to sleep, man. I've got to go have a nap. And then it's like, yeah, no worries, man, we're just going to finish this quest chain, we're going to go to bed as well. So I went and had a sleep, and I like set my alarm and everything. And then I slept for like 20 minutes and then came back, and they were still doing the quest, and I was just like, hi guys, what's going on? And they're just like, dude, didn't you go to something? Like, yeah, man, I had power now, I'm feeling awesome. It's like, dude, you're a freak. And then they eventually went to bed, and I kept leveling by myself for a bit, and then I just crashed. I crashed for like 14 hours of sleep, and that was awesome, because then I just played another 32 hours straight or something. And I wasn't like a server first warrior to level 80 or whatever it was, or 70, I can't remember what it was back then. But I did get server first blacksmithing, and I was real proud of that. So, but yeah, so everyone was starting to ding max level for WOTLK. As soon as we dinged, we formed a raid for what was it called? I don't know, the raid with Tharian, or is that his name? I don't know. I have bad memory. But so yeah, we formed a guild raid for that, because we wanted to get the server, because back then they still had server first achievements, and we wanted to get Obsidian Slayer, which was server first kill on the dragon in the lava. I can't remember what his name is. And it really wasn't that hard. I think we actually ended up getting it before Adept, and we got it like fifth attempt or something. It was really easy. So Adept was pissed, and that was the rivalry between Adept and Dispose. That's how that began. And I think Dispose was ahead for a while. We then we got the Magic Seeker as well, and we got everything up to when Ulduar, when we went in there, like we got all the server first. I think we got Naxxramas and everything. We got like Immortal and Undying and all these crazy mounts and crazy achievements and stuff. Like, I've still got them, they're awesome. I'm really thankful for that. But yeah, so that's sort of how that happened. And it's sort of, as we hit Ulduar, Dispose started to sort of have its little problems. And like there was a bit bickering and stuff like that, and you know, it was sort of, the atmosphere was changing a bit. And then one of my friends in the guild, Scott Zilla, who sings occasionally on my YouTube channel, he was getting whispers from the guild leader of Adept, whose name was Wester, or Abdul, as some people know him now. Like he was, Wester is an absolute brutal human being. He's the nicest guy in the world, but my God, could he destroy guilds? He actually had a nickname eventually as the destroyer of guilds, because he ran Adept like a business. He was ridiculous. He started it from the bottom and just built this demonic thing. We ended up, like, jumping ahead. Adept ended up being like US first and world third and stuff, and we're in an oceanic guild, so like that's a pretty big achievement to take Australian players and put them at the tip top of this rating ladder. And Wester pretty much did majority of the work himself. Like obviously there was other officers and stuff like that, but yeah, Wester did like majority of the friggin' work, the majority of the poaching of these awesome players and stuff, just like taken from guilds and everything. And he ended up actually killing Dispose. He destroyed Dispose, and Dispose folded because he took the main tank, he took like our 4 best DPS, and then took like our 2 best heals, and he just shredded Dispose. And Dispose didn't even finish Ultra, like they just died. Which left me like, because I wasn't like this amazing raid or anything, I was just like this average warrior. I was like, shit, what am I gonna do? So I went to Scottzilla and Haiku and that, because they were getting poached by Adept. I said, man, you got to get me in with you. And he's like, oh, I'll try my best, man. So Scottzilla and Haiku and that went to Abdul and said, right, we're not coming unless you bring this warrior as well. And they're like, we don't have room for a warrior. He might be able to have a go like every now and then. And blah, blah, blah. It's like, fine, yeah, man, that'll do. Like, I just want to get in. I just want to stay like as a group with my friends, and I want to go into this big guild, this big sort of this happening guild. So. Yeah, we went over to Adept, and I did not get a lot of raid time at the start. They had a warrior. What was his name? I don't know. He's a really nice guy. I can't remember his name. He was a Fury warrior, but I eventually got my go, and I was studying logs. My gear was all enchanted and crazy, and I had all these pre-pots and professions. I was ready to go. I'd done more study about that shit than anyone else, and I was fucking ready to go. And I eventually worked my way in to get a core spot, and I was a core raider. And I was like, you know, that's not good enough. That's not good enough for me. So I got obsessed. I went to World of Logs, and what was that other one? I don't know, some other record place where you could keep track of all your DPS and stuff. I went absolutely crazy, and I was studying logs. I was studying other warriors. I was practicing on target dummies for hours. Like we'd finish raiding, and then I'd go practice more and stuff like that. I wanted to be the very best sort of thing. And when ICC eventually came out, like I'll go through all the PvE stuff, then I'll go back and do the arena and the Haiku and everything. So so Adept's, yeah, at this point Adept was established, Dispose was dead, Wester had killed Dispose, and Wester was like moving on to other guilds like Tsunami and all these other places to try and get all these players, because we wanted to build up to be an amazing guild. And we went into ICC, and ICC was like pretty much where everything got big for me as a personal player as well as Adept. Because ICC was like, got to the point where I was like top 5 in the world on every single boss for DPS. Like I remember there was a couple warriors that I was always duking it out with. It was like K Warrior, and there was another one. Who was it? I think he was a Korean warrior. I'm not sure. He was really good. So we were like sort of top 5, top 3, and we'd always be duking it out. I had like a few number 1s, they had a few number 1s and 2s and stuff like that. So yeah. Where was I had to pause for a sec to fix the camera. So yeah, we had a couple number 1s and stuff, and then the legendary Shadowmourne had to, like, it got announced and everything. It was in ICC, and we had to decide who was going to get the Shadowmournes. And I think we had 2 raid groups at the time, so we were going to try and build two at the one time. And we had to remember Abdul, but I wasn't like really familiar with Abdul just yet. Like I've become real good friends with him later on, and like he invited me to his wedding recently, but I couldn't attend because I've got to work, which really sucked, and I couldn't get out of it. But yeah, he sort of approached all the melee who could use a Shadowmourne and said, right guys, what we want you to do is write out like write out an essay sort of thing explaining why you should get Shadowmourne or why you shouldn't get Shadowmourne and blah 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 blah, and then post it to us on the forums. And my my essay was like the biggest thing in the world. It was absolutely huge, and it wasn't just like me saying like, oh, I should get this because I'm the best. It was me sort of like explaining why each other player should get it, or why I should get it, why I shouldn't get it. Then I was like, I'd be so happy if he got it because he does all this, and like, I don't know, I just rambled on about shit. But I think I ended up getting the second Shadow one. I think QT got the first one, which is our rep paladin, he was an officer. And then I think I got the second one, which was, I was grateful, but God, it was sucking to build. It took me like 12 weeks to build that piece of shit, because I kept getting like 3 shards a run or something. But no, I finally built the legendary, and like building that legendary was like the pinnacle of like, I thought, shit, I have made it. This is fantastic. I wasn't that big on YouTube or anything yet, but I thought, you know what, I'm gonna be the first person to make a PvP movie with Shadowmon. And that's when I was up to Klinda 7, because I'd already made 5 and 6 by that time, but I'll go back to that and when I'm talking about Arena. So yeah, I made Klinda 7 with my legendary, but I'll talk about that in the PvP bit. But yeah, that once I got that legendary, I was just destroying damage. There's a video of me, like I think it's called Klinda higher level Fury Warrior or something. It's actually got like 600,000 views now. It's pretty cool. But yeah, it was just like the damage was absolutely such a broken weapon. It was absolutely crazy. And then that's when Adept we ended up killing like heroic the Lich King, which was the final thing. No, actually it wasn't. When was the Battle of Crusade or something crap? I'm mixed up, I don't know. But yeah, ICC was a pinnacle of Wrath Lich King, everyone knows that. Before that there was like the Trial of Crusade or whatever the crap that's called, and blah blah blah. But yeah, built this awesome friend base with Adept. We even actually had like a big meet-up at a trance concert in Sydney, which was absolutely ridiculous. It's awesome though, because we've got to meet all these great people, and I still talk to like Ryax and Abdul, and obviously Haiku, I still play with him. And every now and then I ran into some old Adept members and stuff like that, and it was like one of the most enjoyable times for me in WoW, because you're like, it's so hard to get a massive group of people, like 25 core raiders, and have everyone like each other, but at the point where Adept was at its pinnacle, no one hated each other. Like, we were all just such a close-knit group for a large amount of people, and that's why we were so good. That's why we were like US first and world third and all that stuff, because of that synergy that we had with each other. And we all respected each other. We all, like, after raid finished, we didn't just log off and like go away, go to bed and stuff. Like, we'd hang around and we'd chat with each other. We'd do battlegrounds, we'd arena, we'd just sit on vent, we'd just chill out with each other. It was like the most, when raiding was on, we were hardcore raiding, but once it finished, we were casual as hell, and we'd muck around with each other and we'd have this great time. It was really, really good experience. Like, I know it's a computer game and it's all nerdy and everything, but it was actually a really good life experience in Adept, and I was pretty thankful for it. So that was my raiding scene for Adept. I won't go into the next content. What was the next expansion? I don't know, some expansion. I won't go into all that. I'll go back to my PvP. So as BC finished and went into Wrath Lich King started, I wanted to get better at PvP. And I had access to all the best gear because I was in Dispose and eventually in Adept. So I thought, I'm gonna make the best of this. And I think my first arena partner was ZL, and he was a holy paladin. And we ended up getting to like 2202s and all this other stuff. It wasn't anything special or anything like that. But we finished off the season as, I don't know, I think it was duels, because we didn't really push any. We were just like casual doing it. I don't know. And then the next season was the big season. That was when I met up, like when me and Haiku started playing series together. He was playing his priest, and then we met Medzi. Medzi was this 13-year-old little Afghan boy. I can't remember. I'm sorry, Medzi, if you're not Afghanistani. I can't remember. But he was like this little 13-year-old quiet boy who never talked. But holy good God, on a resto druid, he was so fucking good. He was amazing. So we invented the combo. We were trying to play Shadow Priest, Warrior, Resto Druid, and it just wasn't really working out for us. Like, we got pretty high, we were like 2100 or something. So we're like, you know what, man, I've got all this awesome gear, I've got like 100% armor pen, why don't you just both go healers, and I'll just damage, and we can just outlast everything. And we We tried it, because no, like, checked on Arena Junkies, no one else was running this Resto Druid, Disc Priest, Warrior comp. And we're thinking about it, like, the synergy was amazing, because you got all the CC from the Druid, then you got the Dispels from the Priest, and he just pretty much runs after people dispelling them and mana burning them. It's like, God, this could be such an awesome comp, why don't we just give it a go? And we gave it a go, and my God, we went like 40-1, and we were 2,800 or something, and we're just like, shit. What happened? We were like top 10 in 3v3. It was like, let's just fucking sit there for Glad. And that's what we did. We just sat there for Glad. And then we ended up playing again, and we ended up going back up, like, a bit further up to like 2,850 or something, I don't know. And then the season ended and we got Glad. But in between that, we're doing twos. Like, me and Medzi were 2,700 in twos or something. And then 5v5, we ended up getting like 2,600 as well, running some retarded comps, like Rep Pally, Warrior, some other shit. And then the next season came along, and we pretty much did it again, running the same comp. And I think the next season again was with the Shadowmourne season, and that's when we just murdered everything. And I got like, that was, I'm like, God, dude, I've got this Shadowmourne, I'm going to make a movie, I'm just going to film everything I do, I'm going to film BGs, and it was just the most broken weapon in the game. It was absolutely just destroying everything. It was crazy. And I'm like, yes, dude, this is going to be awesome. I'm going to be the first person to release a PvP movie with Shadowmourne, which I was, which was Klinda 7. And I released Klinda 7, and I thought, oh man, I might be able to break like 100,000 views or something. This could be awesome for my YouTube channel, which I was only at like 10,000 subscribers or something at that point. And so I've made this, I poured my heart and soul into Klinda 7. It took me so long to make. And I had all these awesome songs, and like the editing was like, at the time I thought it was like, oh, it's so good. But I look back now and I like made plenty of mistakes. But yeah, so I made Klinda 7, I've released it, I put it on Warcraft Movies too. It was the first movie I'd ever put on Warcraft Movies. I was heaps nervous about that. And like, it pretty much like seemed like overnight I had like people logging on, like I never had it before, people logging on and like congratulating me and like asking me all this stuff and I don't like using that word, but fanboying me and stuff like that. I did interviews for websites and all this other crazy stuff. Klinda 7 got like 500,000 views or something. It went platinum on, well, like 500,000 on YouTube, and it went platinum on Warcraft Movies, and like it was absolutely crazy for me because I'd never had sort of that much attention in WoW, and it really sort of put me as a player on like the map. And people still remember it was like, oh, even though I remembered it was like, oh, people like, oh, you know, Klinda was like, oh, what, that dude that uses PvE gear and does fucking Shadowmourne and stuff. I think Haiku's actually, yeah, Haiku's Skyping. This will be fucking interesting. I'm gonna answer the Skype call and he can chat with me. This will be fucking good. Right, cool. I'll turn it up. Hey! Oh, I'm mid-vlog.
Hello?
Hello? Oh.
What's that? Your mic's on.
One sec. We are recording, Jason. So, yeah, so... Sorry about that, my computer died. I mean, not my computer died, but my camera died. And Haiku's here now, as well, so...
Oh, what's up?
Just turn you up. You're a bit fucking low. Say something?
Yo!
Yeah, that should be alright. Anyway, so yeah, where I was up to, Jason, was I went through all the PvE stuff and all that, and then I went through most of the PvP stuff and got up to Klinda 7, which was like the big sort of thing that put us sort of, I don't know,
yeah,
made us sort of known, and it was like my biggest movie, and I think it's currently at like 2 million views or something. So yeah, no, it was good. And then from there, pretty much, we just kept PvPing. We PvP'd out the expansion pack into Cataclysm. I think that was the next one. And yeah, that was it.
I think,
Adept, hey?
well, you made Klinda 8 in Lich
Did I make Klinda 8?
as well. Yeah, pretty sure. Definitely.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Klinda 8 was, yeah. Klinda 8 was like your first talking video.
Oh yeah, it was too. Yeah.
Yeah. Klinda 7 was just killing shit.
Yeah, that's right. No, that's right. When
That was good stuff.
when we made Klinda 8 and you had your sister come in and scream Jason, and then everyone was just like, whispering you Jason for hours.
People still log on and listen to me, Jason.
Hey Jason! Hey Jason! Nah, it was fucking good. Yeah, man, no, that's pretty much it, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went through with Adept into Cataclysm, and that was it. That's pretty much in a nutshell. But I did skip some of the stuff. Hey?
The Lich King in a nutshell.
Yeah, Lich King.
Although Cataclysm was pretty much raiding for most of it.
Yeah, that was right. No, I'm not going to
the old
talk about
16-hour-a-day raids.
Oh, God. 60 hours. We go on shift and fucking...
We'll get some fair PvP in Cataclysm, man. I love my Mage Warrior Power.
Yeah, that's right.
Mage
Warrior Power.
Unplayable. That was shit ass.
Anyway, yeah, that's pretty much it for the vlog, I guess. This is Lola, though. This is my kitty Lola. She's very tired at the moment, but
Jesus. Cats fucking suck.
That cat's must suck, man. She's so good.
Your cat's a piece of shit.
As if, man. She can hear you.
Oh.
She said, oh, she's heaps cute. I don't know if she can even see her on camera. Anyway.
I hope your bird eats a cat.
Right, guys, so yeah, thanks for, I don't know, listening to this vlog. It's a very long-winded one, and I just talk shit for most of the time. And then Jason coming at the end, and it just went shit. And all structure of the vlog was just pissed on.
That's me.
So yeah, that's Jason. He's the pisser. If you got any other questions or anything, or any other ideas for vlogs, then fire away in the comments. And have a good one. See you guys.